Natalie Esquire here with On Her Turf, and I am at the Sports Power Brunch, and I am here with the creator of the Sports Power Brunch, LaTonya Story. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you for allowing us to be here to cover this amazing, incredible event.
Of course.
You were the brainchild behind it. Why did you decide to establish this event?
Well, it was selfishly. I wanted to admire women who I personally admired. Amy Trask, Lisa Salters, Sharice Williams-G, Melanie Feud, Natera Holloway when she was at the league office. And ironically, I didn't know many of them personally, but I always feel like we're one degree from separation. And so as it relates to Amy Trask, Mike Freeman, who's a writer, did the foreword to her book. And then I sent him a DM. I'm like, I want to honor Miss Trask. Can you make the introduction? And he did. And so that was the impetus of it.
So this is an annual event.
Yes.
It's always the week leading up to Super Bowl.
Yes.
What is the significance of doing it at this time?
I worked in sports, and I worked primarily working with NFL players for 23 years. And sports is the biggest platform as far as NFL is concerned. And the fact that I was able to do it during this time, it was a blessing.
So at this brunch, you honor different women.
Mm-hmm.
What's the process for deciding who you're going to honor?
Well, the first process is depending on the city that we're going to.
Okay.
To make sure we honor and highlight someone of note in that community.
Okay.
So I can't come into New Orleans without honoring Swin Cash. And so, we start from there.
Okay.
We do take recommendations as well. And so Allie Krieger was actually nominated by Gotham FC,
okay,
the former team. And then there's just other women that I wanted to honor as well. And so I always try to honor someone from the league office. And so there's so many women behind the scenes that makes the NFL work that people don't really realize. And so to be able to do it with Donna Ponte, the highest ranking woman in the NFL, that's how I come to make the decision of who I honor.
Oh, okay. Well, this is the 6th year, right? What are you most proud of so far?
I'm proud of all those people out there. How people show up, because you don't have to. There's so many events, like you said, during Super Bowl week that they can go to. Many women fly in just for the event and they fly back out, and that really means a lot. And so I think I'm most proud of how it's grown over the past 6 years, the level of people who come to support it, the sponsors who are sponsoring it and supporting it, and just how people just kind of gravitate to it.
Can you talk a little bit about the Sterling Legacy Fund and the Sterling Courts?
Sure. My son Sterling died in 2019 after being misdiagnosed from cancer. He grew up playing sports, and he did it locally at the rec center. And when you saw my son, you saw basketball. And so, there's two things about the Sterling Legacy Fund that we do. One is healthcare disparities, health education. I give grants and donations to the Hampton University Proton Cancer Institute, as well as Thomas Jefferson University toward their medical school program, where they enable more Black and brown people to go into the medical field and go to medical school. My son kept going to the doctor, wasn't feeling well. They gave him ibuprofen. He actually had cancer. They didn't do any tests. And so just the fact that our family had to go through that, and we didn't find out he had cancer until his autopsy. And so it's my goal to make sure that another family doesn't go through what we go through. And as it relates to Sterling Courts, I just wanted to do something to honor him. He did get a chance to make it to the league. He didn't play professionally or in college, but I know how much sports meant to him, and I knew how much the local rec center meant to him as well.
Can you tell our viewers what you do with the Sterling Courts?
Yeah. So we go into each Super Bowl host city, and we find whether it's the Boys and Girls Club, in this case, the Lions Recreation Center, where we go in and we renovate the basketball court. So this is our first indoor basketball court. We did an outdoor basketball court in Las Vegas. So we're doing an indoor full court, and with the help of Prime Video, Puma, Kalen Saunders of the New Orleans Saints, and then Microsoft, as you heard, they partnered with us to renovate the computer lab, the teen center, and audio lab. So it's not just this one thing, it's sustainable programming that's going to go on throughout.
Thank you so much for sharing Sterling's story with us. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that, but what an amazing way to honor your son. Yes, absolutely. What is your long-term vision for the Sports Power Brunch? Yeah.
Well, my long term, I always say if you put it out there, people will come. So my long term vision is actually see it as an awards television show, televised.
Wow.
And so hopefully in the next couple of years you'll see that.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing.
Thank you.
I just want to point out part of you being in this role. You talked about it. You worked in sports
Yes.
for a very long time.
23
Yes.
years. Yes.
So, what made you decide to call it quits?
You know what? One, my son passed away.
Okay.
And I just felt like God was calling me in another direction.
Okay.
And then another thing is the Sports Power Brunch began to grow enough where I could leave my full-time job. At 51 years old now, about to turn 52, the ability to pivot to something else, I don't take that for granted, and I'm very humble and grateful for it. But I worked my dream job. I did everything I wanted to do. I worked with the players and people on television that I always wanted to work with. And God just told me it was time. And so I listened to him, and he made a pathway for something else for me.
Well, you've created an amazing event. So strong, so courageous. Thank you for your vision and for doing this and for honoring so many women in this space that we love. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.